doors. We need to open the doors. All of them need to open. Thank you. Bill Ross. Bill Ross. Lions Heart recipient and Ralph Opasek. Would you please come up to the front? Lions Heart and Ralph Opasek. The register is requesting you at the front. Lions Heart and Ralph Opasek, would you please come up?
Our program will begin in 10 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. Our program will begin in 10 minutes.
I see trees of green,
Alan, can I borrow you for a minute?
I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
John Evans, if you're in the room, could you join us up front, please?
Skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands.
Kathy Ruvalo.
Saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I never knew. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself.
Linda Jensen, would you please join us up front? The register would like another picture of you. And now all we're missing is he wants John Evans, but I can't find him.
It's a celebration. Celebrate good times, come on. Let's celebrate. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate. It's alright. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate. It's alright. Baby, we're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. Our program will begin in 5 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, our program will begin in 1 minute. Please make sure that your cell phones are silenced. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. Our program will begin in 5 minutes.
Come back.
It's a celebration. Celebrate good times, come on. It's a celebration. Celebrate good times, come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The program will begin in just a moment.
We're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate. It's all right. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate. It's all right, baby. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate. It's all right. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate. It's all right.
Bill, final cue.
Ladies and gentlemen, our program will begin in 1 minute. Please make sure that your cell phones are silenced. Now, ladies and gentlemen, our program will begin in 1 minute. Please make sure that your cell phones are silenced.
Sandy Lee and Christine Peters to the stage, please. Sandy Lee and Christine Peters to the stage. Christine Peters, Sandy Lee to the stage, please. Okay, all right. Okay, and then you're going to do your thing. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please take your seats? Please take your seats. The program will begin in about 30 seconds. Thank you. Okay, let's go.
Now, please welcome our 2009 National Philanthropy Day co-chairs, Linda Jensen and Kathy Ruvalo.
Welcome everyone on behalf of AFP and NPD in Orange County. Welcome to the 2009 National Philanthropy Day Awards Luncheon. Kathy Ruvalo and I have been honored to be the co-chairs this year, and we also have a lot of people to thank. First, we would like to thank our distinguished honorary chairs, John Evans, Senior Vice President, Wells Fargo Bank. Alan Greeley, owner-chef of the Golden Truffle Restaurant. Alan and John inspired us last year with their stories of philanthropy and what it meant to them from the perspective of a big business and a smaller business, what it meant to their companies and their employees. Later on, they will be joining us to help with the presentations. We'd also like to thank the Orange County Register. The Register has been a sponsor for 19 consecutive years. That's got to be some kind of a record. Thank you, Orange County Register. We also would like to thank all the event sponsors at every level. You are our underwriters, and this would not happen without you. We appreciate you. Thank you.
I have a little bit of a cold, so please excuse the voice. It's not swine flu, so no worries there. Thanks. Linda and I want to take a moment to thank our fabulous committee. We had a committee this year of AFP volunteers who worked tirelessly for 8 months to help put today's event together. And Linda and I just want to extend our deepest appreciation to every one of them, and most of them, I believe, are in the room. So if you are here today, could you please stand, and we would like to acknowledge you. So committee members, MPD committee. Thank you again. And now I'm very pleased to introduce Sally Lawrence, who is the president of the Association of Fundraising Professionals. Sally.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am truly delighted and at the same time very humbled to be here today among so many leaders and givers and doers whose philanthropy makes a difference in our world. Our nonprofit organizations depend on you. You propel us to greater heights with your vision. You lend a hand. You donate funds. You lead campaigns and you build institutions. You are the engine and the fuel of the nonprofit sector. The health, arts, human service, and education organizations, and the life-saving and life-enhancing help they provide. Close to 100 of you are here today because your nonprofit nominated you. You have worked for them and affiliated yourself with them. We would like to recognize you. Would you please stand and enjoy our applause? Everyone who's being honored today.
Thank you, Sally. And now I'd like to introduce, or actually ask you to join me in welcoming the girls from the Girl Scout Council of Orange County for our flag presentation and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Will the audience please stand? Girl Scout attention. Color Guard attention. Color Guard advance. Color Guards post the colors. Color Guards salute the colors. Please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Girl Scouts. Now I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Ronald Farmer, who is the Dean of the Wallace All Faiths Chapel and Associate Professor of Religious Studies at Chapman University. Dr. Farmer is going to lead us in today's reflection.
Good morning. I invite you to join me in a period of reflection and prayer. During this season of Thanksgiving, O God, we come before you with hearts overflowing. You have bestowed blessings on us without number, manifold expressions of your goodness and grace. and we stand in awe that you invite us to share in your ongoing creative activity in the world. As we assemble today to celebrate people helping people, we give thanks for this year's honorees who have given so generously of their time, talent, and treasures. In honoring them, may we be reminded that you have called each one of us in our own unique way to engage in the philanthropic activity of mending the world. Bless now the food we will enjoy to the nourishment of our bodies, and the warm fellowship we share to the nourishment of our spirits. Amen.
Thank you, Ron. And now I'm thrilled to introduce to you our highly acclaimed MC, Maria Hall Brown, the dynamic, fabulous Maria Hall Brown, who has been our MC for many, many years for this event, and we so appreciate her. Maria is the KOC producer and reporter for Real Orange, and also producer and host of Bookmark. Maria.
What a wonderful day, and thank you for allowing me to be a part of it again. You know, at KOCE, and in particular Real Orange, we're lucky to have the perfect seat to look and watch all the pieces of the kaleidoscope that's Orange County. But today, in this room, are all the bright, sparkly pieces. We may be across the street from the happiest place on earth, but in this place today, we celebrate truly the most optimistic people on earth. Each of our honorees, with them, faith is born and passed around. And although there is a lot of divine intervention at times, I'm really talking about a more earthly faith. Faith in our ability to find a cure, right a wrong, calm a fear, celebrate a gift, build a dream. And it's through their leadership, generosity, dedication, and at times sheer force of will that faith not only lives, but transforms into an amazing power capable of knocking down the highest of obstacles. And speaking of powerful forces, it's now my pleasure to bring to the stage our honorary co-chairs. They were our 2008 Outstanding Awardees, John Evans, representing Wells Fargo, and Alan Greeley, owner and chef of the Golden Truffle Restaurant. Please welcome John and Alan to the stage. Come on, Alan. We know you like to be in front of a crowd. There you go. You didn't hear him. He said, I've been here for an hour and I'm still late. All right. Well, as John comes up, we will move on to the awards as you enjoy your salad. The Outstanding Youth Organization Award. It honors youth leaders under the age of 21 who have demonstrated extraordinary commitment to the community through direct support, development of charitable programs, volunteering, and/or leadership. Please direct your attention to the video screens.
When Terry Corrin originally started this organization, she and her son were trying to find ways that he can get involved in community service. Terry's always been active in the community herself, but she was working with her teenage boys to find an avenue for them to get involved in the community. And although for girls there was things like NCL, National Charity League, and Assist Teens and so forth, there really wasn't anything geared towards boys to be involved with community service. And what I love about Terry is that she takes what other people do and just talk about, and she actually gets it done. She is one of the best doers that our community has, and it's become something that not only was so popular with those boys, it's continued on and grown every year, but now actually girls have had a demand to want to do it. So now they've got virtually 20 different groups, if you will, organized by gender and by class, all focused on doing community service. Each one of the Lion's Heart groups is basically organized and run by the teenage boys and girls themselves. They actually think about, gee, what do we need in this community? What can we do? How can we make a difference? And what I like about it is it's not just teenagers being told what to do, it's teenagers coming up with their own ideas about how can we serve, what can we do to be more effective in the community, and how can we have fun doing it. one thing that I think has been so impressive is that literally within 5 short years, we've taken this vision and turned it into a reality that has gone from 20 boys sitting around in one person's family room to now having over 300 kids, and they've so far, I think there are 26,500 hours of community service they've done so far. And what they've really done is made it fun and made it cool for teenagers to be involved with community service. And I see this as a template that can be replicated easily throughout the area, throughout the state, throughout the country. And it really wouldn't surprise me if in a number of years from now, we're going to be looking at, tens of thousands of kids involved with hundreds of thousands of hours of community service as a result of what she started here. The Bell Tower Foundation was originally created to fundraise for and organize and operate a regional community center. And we found that really the purpose and the mission of our organization then was to help other organizations in our community. So there's a lot of different events in the community that we do to help serve other organizations, and they help provide the manpower for things that we simply just need extra hands and legs on the ground for, and so they're able to help us out and do those type of things. And for kids that are raised in South Orange County, we're in a fairly affluent area. And so it's nice for them to be exposed to people who are in need, people who are less fortunate, and for them to think about, gee, how can I give back? How can I help others? And I can't help but think that that kind of inspiration and thought process as kids is going to have an impact on them through their entire lives, so that later on as college students, as adults, as working people, they'll always be thinking about community service as a part of who they are and what they do. I just think it's incredible what they've done in a relatively short amount of time. They've taken something and made such a big impact in this community with basically one person heading it up and creating a dream and making it happen.
Early habits set a precedent for lifelong fulfillment, the joy of helping others. Please welcome the co-founders of our outstanding youth organization, Lion's Heart, Terry Corwin and her son, Spencer Corwin. Smile pretty.
On behalf of Lion's Heart, I would like to thank the Bell Tower Foundation for nominating Lion's Heart for this award, along with the Education for the Children Foundation, PCRF, and the Orange County Rescue Mission for their supporting nominations. Thank you to the National Philanthropy Day Committee and the Orange County chapter of the Association of Fundraising Professionals for this tremendous honor. Lion's Heart would not be possible without the tireless dedication of all of our volunteer class coordinators who head up each of our 22 groups of kids. Lastly, I would like to dedicate this award to my late grandfather, Ken Corwin, who has always been the inspiration for our family's dedication to serving the community. Thank you, and congratulations to all the honorees today.
As you might have noticed, Alan did sneak a little goodie over here. It's also our pleasure to present Lion's Heart a check for $750 from our Youth Scholarship Fund for continued development and education. So congratulations. The Outstanding Volunteer Fundraiser Award honors a volunteer who has demonstrated leadership in coordinating and motivating others to accomplish a philanthropic project for the benefit of a charitable institution, and one who has devoted a substantial amount of personal time, energy, and creativity to one or more organizations, one who truly exemplifies the spirit of volunteerism at its best. Annually, over 500,000 volunteers fundraise to assist nonprofits in Orange County. Please join me in watching the video.
Well, Susan and I were sorority sisters, and we became long-term friends. My daughter was diagnosed with cancer in 1992 at 15 months old, and we had become involved with the Pediatric Cancer Research Foundation as a way for us to give back and help. And I mentioned it to her, and she dove in with Rich from the very beginning.
Susan has adopted our holiday card program and has had a party at her home for probably 15 years, just inviting her friends in for the day to buy our cards. and has raised thousands of dollars just through that effort.
Susan and Rich have been involved with the Pediatric Cancer Research Foundation for a long time, about 17 years now. But their involvement over the last few years really has increased as they've got the Mission Viejo High School athletic program involved with our organization.
Richard and Susan have been a stalwart companion to PCRF for many, many years. Not only they and themselves, it's obvious that Richard was brought up in an environment of philanthropy. His mother and father, who are here today, Alan and Janet Bridgeford, are also very philanthropic, and Richard and Susan have followed in their footsteps through all of the years and have been just a very strong supporter of PCRF.
Their willingness to get the young kids at the high school involved and to let them know how important it is to support people within their community separates the two of them from everybody else.
Susan and Rich have stayed with us and continued to support PCRF and us over the years. And I think that to me is what stands out as just such an amazing feat, because there's just not very many friends that hang with you and truly support you over the years like they have.
Through the years, Susan has become extremely active with philanthropic ideas for PCRF. Richard and Susan have both taken PCRF places where we would never have gotten into. They have introduced us to people that have never known PCRF.
You know, today it's 17 years later, and they're more involved now with the Pediatric Cancer Research Foundation than they ever have been. So I think it's the long term and just being there always, and the just staying power of them. And their heart is in it, and it's been phenomenal.
It's such a pleasure to have someone that has the passion and the enthusiasm that they have and continue to have had over all of these years.
Please welcome our outstanding volunteer fundraisers, Richard and Susan Bridgeford. They're very pretty, too. Please.
Honey, if I go over 2 minutes, you just kick me. Thank you very much. We're honored, we're humbled, but I just want to say that all of these individual awards, these are really about, a team effort. And we're just really grateful for all the people. First in the PCRF, for Scott Evans and Nancy Franks, and for the Winers for getting us involved. It's just a great organization, and the holiday card deal that we have that's going on right now is a very successful part of the program. I hope that all of you will look for that when you're in the supermarkets. The food bank is something that through my family's business we've been involved in now for over 15 years, and it's also a great deal to be involved with. And I want to thank Joe Schoenig for attending today and for all the work that Joe and the other people have done at the food banks. They're the real honorees, I think. The people like Nancy at PCRF and Scott and the Winers and Joe and all the work they do. And I want to give a special thanks today to Coach Bob Johnson and his wife Debbie, who are here from Mission Viejo. It's not a formal charity or anything like that, but the impact that they've had on my son's life, both of my sons, and all the families, and involving PCRF in all these young men's lives, and teaching them the value of giving back. I mean, it's just really just an indispensable thing. So I want to thank all of you. I want to thank the foundation, and I want to thank each of the people that I've mentioned. And these are difficult times that we're in right now. And I just want to share a little poem. It's real short here, It's called Anyway. You know, we're in rather cynical times right now, and this type of a deal is really important, the giving back. It goes like this. People may be unreasonable, illogical, and self-centered. Love them anyway. If you do good, people may accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Do good anyway. If you're successful, you may win false friends and true enemies. Succeed anyway. The good you do will be forgotten tomorrow in many cases. Do good anyway. Honesty and frankness may make you vulnerable. Be honest and frank anyway. You may spend years building that which may be destroyed overnight. Build anyway. People really need help, but they may attack you if you help them. Help people anyway. Give the world the best you have, and you'll get kicked in the teeth once in a while, but give the world the best you've got anyway. Thank you very much.
See, I told you the room was filled with the sparkly parts. That was amazing, thank you. The Outstanding Philanthropic Group Award recognizes a volunteer group that has demonstrated extraordinary commitment to the community through direct involvement, financial support, and leadership. Please turn your attention to the screens.
Woman Sage is a nonprofit membership organization that's dedicated to educating, empowering, and enlightening women in midlife. The way in which Woman Sage delivers on its mission is really through its monthly educational salons and through our philanthropies. And the philanthropies really center around issues that midlife women face, which are rather unique from those of other parts of our community. So through Woman Sage Cares, we address the issues of the caregiver. One of the events that we offer is a cruise down to Ensenada. So the cruise in and of itself is fun, but through the eyes of a caregiver, it's the first time many of them have been able to close the door, enjoy a long shower, read, go to sleep when they need to, and really just have some uninterrupted time. Through scholarships, through some lovely friends of Woman Sage, we're able to provide then a respite caregiver to their family or loved one. Through Woman Sage Reinvent Workplace Solutions, we help women who have been displaced or just help them make their next best decision in a career. The other philanthropy is Women Sage Transition Makeovers. And with a makeover, we bring together a group of faculty, that faculty consisting of someone who helped with a resume, maybe helping put together a wardrobe for the purpose of interviews, a financial planner so that they know how best to put together a cash flow, and a life coach, helping that woman at a key transition make a successful makeover. One of the reasons Women Sage came into existence is the fact that there aren't a lot of pioneers. There are not yet a lot of pioneers of women charting the second half of their life. And there's a misperception, I think, of midlife women. It's a time in a woman's life where she has the ability to make choices, and sadly, sometimes those choices are being thrust on her because of a life transition. Maybe finding herself widowed, without a job, or potentially divorced, and not having a lot of direct role models for that. The image of your midlife, middle income, living in Orange County, what are your needs? And sadly, if you've never before had to look for a job or be counted on for your own income, you're just one or two steps away from needing social intervention. Woman Sage founder and executive director is Jane Glenn Haas. Many are familiar with her work through the Orange County Register, as her column is very well read. And Jane brings together her experiences as a midlife person and helps bring together some of the most inquisitive and interesting women of Orange County for the purpose of having fun, for the purpose of learning from one another, and helping participate in our philanthropies.
Welcome our outstanding philanthropic group, Woman Sage. Accepting on behalf of Woman Sage is the organization's founder, Jane Glenn Haas. Take your picture, Jane. Would you like me to hold that for you?
I want to explain the cane is not part of midlife. It's a temporary thing. I want to thank you so much for this award. I have so many people to thank, all the women in Women's Age, all the women who have given their time over the years to be on our board of directors. And I particularly want to thank the 4,257 women nationally who've taken time to fill out a survey that we have on how is your life different than your mother's. And I thought I should tell you why we asked that question. About 10 years ago, I was driving up through the middle of the state of Washington with my late husband. And we were looking at the trees, or he was looking at the road, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, he says, I think I'll retire and we can open a bed and breakfast. And I thought somebody'd knocked the stuffing out of me. I was going to spend my old age cleaning out toilets for strangers. This was not what I had in mind. And I thought of my mother, who always talked about her duty as a wife, how she gave up her job and went with my father to Florida to fish for grouper, and she hated fishing and all of these things. And I had my hand on the door handle, and then the angels started to sing. Well, not really, the angels didn't really start to sing, but I realized that I'm a product of the women's movement. I have my own money. I have pension, Social Security, and 401k. And I said, sweetheart, you do that and I'll come visit you on the weekends. And I got real interested in how our lives are different from our mothers. And one of the things that I did is I went to Cal State Fullerton Women's Studies Department. They helped me put together this survey. And I wrote about it a couple of times in my column, which is distributed nationally, and I started to get a lot of responses. And I was astonished to find out that about 97% of the women told me they didn't have a circle of friends they met with regularly. And I thought, well, no, that makes sense because you've been raising kids and working and you don't necessarily have time to build that support system that women do for each other. So I thought, well, we'd see if we get 30, 40 women together, start a little group, and Women's Age is the result. We have about 600 members locally. We have several chapters nationally. Next year, we're going to make a major national push to grow and take our message to other areas of the country. I think it's been very exciting to identify some of the problems that women face. This Reinvent program, for example, we started out thinking that maybe there'd be some women who would want to change jobs, and we get about 200 women at this monthly meeting. And we're helping women, if in no other way than helping them network and helping them learn what skills they need to know to survive in this new economy. I'm very excited about our future, and you have given us such a boost today. I can't thank you enough. You know, Women's Age serves the middle class, and there are a lot of people who think the middle class doesn't need to be served. I want to thank you for reinforcing my belief that we really deserve and need to be served. Thank you very much.
I'll be right back. Okay, well, this is a part of the program that is extremely personal to me, so fortunately, I don't have to do it. I would like to bring to the stage Tom Tierney to introduce our next award. Many of you do know Tom and his wife Elizabeth as steadfast and passionate philanthropists. They've been previously honored for lifetime achievement, and Tom served as co-chair of the judging committee this year. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tom Tierney.
Some of you look really nice. All of the women do. Well, this year, my National Philanthropy Day partner, Janet Ray, and I had the privilege of leading the judging committee, a committee of volunteers who were not just terrific, they were cosmic, they were transformational, they were, in a word, volunteers. Now, their names are in the program, and as a matter of protocol, don't take them for granted. If the judging committee would rise, we'd like to acknowledge you. That means stand. That's enough. Sit down. The merits of our awardees today are obvious, but choices are sometimes very difficult when you have a cosmos full of star-studded volunteers, all of whom are worthy of some measure of recognition by their community. We found one who's an icon in California, and we wanted to recognize Ed Arnold, but he didn't fit into one of those categories because Ed is ubiquitous. He is everywhere. He's everywhere in our lives. He's everywhere in the fabric of our communications. So we wanted to create an award to honor him in a very special way. AFP is very pleased to acknowledge Ed. We're going to show you a short video presentation. And at Ed's request, computer enhancement of his image has been very minimized. Well, let's look at
I think the thing that's fascinating about Ed is his endless energy to begin with, and his consistency.
Well, you know, when I first got to know Ed, it was basically I knew him on television first, like so many people do, and we had this opportunity for him to come down here after he left KTLA to be an anchor for us, and it was different than I had envisioned dealing with a television personality type. Here was this guy, he answered his own phone, he came into our studio, he sat down and talked with us, and that day he said, yeah, I think I'm going to do this.
The way we got in touch with him originally is he was in the phone book and we called him up.
And you got the impression right off the bat that here's a guy who gets it, understands what nonprofits need, and he wants to donate his services in whatever way he can to make that happen.
And he is passionate about all of the different causes that he supports. You look on his calendar and there's 365 days out of the year, and Ed has about 700 events scheduled. I don't think there's anybody that hasn't been a part of an Ed Arnold event, and Ed Arnold has just made it better because of his presence.
Over the years, you would think, well, maybe he'll just do this one event this year. Not only was it one event, it was almost every weekend and a lot of times, and for a lot of golf tournaments, for a lot of banquets and those kind of things. And he's meant so much to so many people, and he's done so much good for the local community that he would be irreplaceable. There's nobody like him out there in the business.
You see him in his public presence, but there's also something about Ed that really impacted me is when you see him out of the limelight. One time we had an event where some underprivileged kids were here, and he stood in front of them and he talked about his upbringing, and he said, look, I'm standing here, I'm doing this, you can too. So his ability to relate to all walks of life and to be an inspiration is something that's very special about him.
Here's a guy who wants to help the community that we're serving, and you know, he gives his time so freely to so many people, so many organizations that are honoring others, and then Ed shows up and helps them honor these other people. And for decades, Ed's been showing up and honoring other people and helping other organizations fulfill their mandate of being in the community and serving the community. And suddenly people have turned around and said, Ed Arnold's been doing this for a long time. Maybe we should give him an honor too. And I think that's really great that people are kind of recognizing the time and the dedication he's had to so many organizations.
We're just all really lucky that he's around. We're all really lucky that he's with us. He's a terrific guy, and I hope he knows how much we all love him.
Congratulations, Ed. I understand you're winning the Spirit of Community Award, and nobody is more deserving than you. You give back to the community. Special Olympics would not be where it is without the involvement that you've put into this program for so many years, from the very, very beginning. You've stood by, you've stood in, you've stood up. You're an incredible man, incredible human being, and you understand the spirit of giving back, and you understand the spirit of involvement. So I'm so thrilled that they're honoring you. You deserve it, and I just want to say congratulations. God bless.
Maria, I know you could go on for at least a half an hour talking about Ed, but you're a little choked up because he's so close to you professionally. Ladies and gentlemen, we know that philanthropy comes in many forms. We know the expression that a person walks their talk, and also the expression, what you see is what you get. And in Ed Arnold's case, we both see as well as hear someone who's part of our DNA, the fabric of communications in Southern California, an individual of integrity and good works, Ed Arnold. Ed.
For those that don't know, I can get emotional. Tom, thank you very much, and it's always a pleasure to be involved with an organization that honors special people, and then to throw me into the mix is kind of nice too. I appreciate that. My man Alan, I'm sorry, the SOS, I was out of town for our last event, okay? I'll make up to you. Joe, I know you got some cupboards that are bare, so Second Harvest Food Bank needs your help. Santa Ana College has got a new project going on. If you'd like to check with them, you can see. KOCE is like all businesses. We've had our challenges financially, but we could certainly use some help this year. And, you know, it's interesting. Vanguard University's theater department, Dixie and I are trying our best to get that thing finished for them. We're not doing so well. And no. I would like to introduce someone that's the most special person in my life. When I got out of the Marine Corps and came to Santa Ana College, and the first class this beautiful woman walked into, I was leaning up against the wall at the back of the room, and I told a football playing buddy of mine, I said, there's my wife. And he laughed at me, made fun of me. And then all the guys of the football team were teasing me like crazy. And they said, now you don't have the guts to go up and approach her. But I did. And fortunately, in a moment of weakness, she agreed to marry me. And 48 years later, she's still tolerating me. And that's my wife, Dixie Arnold. I've been very lucky. For those who don't know, I had a pretty rotten upbringing, abusive in many respects, a drunken father that went elsewhere, and I really didn't know my father until I was in high school, and my stepmother told him that since I was living on my own at 14, that perhaps it's time that he showed a little devotion to me, and it was very nice. But during that period of growing up, I had people that cared about me, that were neighbors and just friends, and that's something that's always been in my heart. The good Lord somehow got me into broadcasting at the age of 14, and I'm still in broadcasting 50-some years later. And I was lucky enough to start a little radio station in Arkansas. The Marine Corps brought me to Southern California. Football kept me here. I was very fortunate to play at Santa Ana College, where I married the football queen. It's been interesting to go through the years working for my boyhood idol, Gene Autry, whom I just loved, to be associated with ABC during the glory years with Jerry Dunphy and the people like that. Back to KTLA, where I finished my sportscasting career. And then I was lucky enough to get that phone call from my second son, as I refer to him now, Michael Taylor. And I was kind of taken back by it. And I went, yeah, hey. And I went in and met the people. I met Ann and Maria and Ed Miskovich, who is just absolutely unbelievable as well. And, of course, Michael. And I love that station, love the people. And for those that don't know, during the time that my heart problem started, 2002, where the initial diagnosis was a heart transplant, and I had to let the station know that I might be leaving a bit or not be able to come in. They were supportive. They said, take all the time you need to recuperate. Take all the time since then, when I've gone back in for the 14 different jump starts and the ablation procedure and all these things I've gone through. They've been very supportive of me, and for that, Mel and the board and all, I appreciate it very much. But for Special Olympics, it was mentioned, and I'm just thrilled that Maria had the comment she had. Monica McDade, most of you know from cancer and different places around here, that is with Special Olympics doing such a great job, and she was kind enough to submit a nomination for me, and Bill Schumard, who runs Special Olympics Southern California, is here. And they know how much I love that program. The JCs gave me an opportunity to be there when it started in 1968, when we met in the back room of a local chamber of commerce, and to see what it's done when people said, there's no way those people and worse names would ever be able to accomplish anything. And I say to those people today, as I said then, you don't know what you're talking about, and all you have to do is look at the results. I'm very honored that you considered singling me out. I'm very grateful for this honor, for Tim Ryan and all the people that continue to do great things. And I can go down the list because I've seen so many of you here. You are the givers, and for that, I'm blessed. And thank you very much. This is very special to me.
Okay, I'm going to go back to the table and wipe my eyes, and the rest of you, please enjoy your lunch. We'll be back in a few minutes with some more spectacular honorees. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to our stage, Maria Hall Brown.
Thank you so much. Well, I certainly hope you all are enjoying your lunch. You know, Time Magazine had an article recently about the fact that even given the current state of our economy, California is still the cutting edge of pretty much everything. And I certainly think we can say that about Orange County. As you realize, National Philanthropy Day wouldn't even exist if it wasn't for the brilliance of a remarkable man who took an incredible idea of giving and gratitude and spread it across the nation. So I think we do owe a little bit of gratitude and a little bit of congratulation to Doug Freeman, who is here with us today. And of course, Lynn is with him too. As you know, you can't have a good man without, well, of course with Lynn, it's always fabulous. So thank you very much, Lynn, for being here. I also do want to make note that these terrific videos that we've been watching today have been produced by an incredibly talented man, Bill Innes. I think we need to give him a little thanks for his videos. And while we're talking about talent, Orange County is filled with remarkable talent, which includes our next special treat. It's an organization founded by one of our outstanding honorees. Please welcome the group Montage from the Orange County High School of the Arts performing a piece called No Boundaries, a perfect metaphor for giving in Orange County. Montage.
Seconds, hours, so many days. You know what you want, but how long can you wait? Every moment lasts forever. When you feel you've lost your way, and what if my chances were already gone?
A remarkable performance by the talented students and their creative director, Cindy Pekka. Absolutely amazing. And now I'd like to invite back up to the stage our honorary co-chairs, John Evans and Alan Greeley, so they can help me present the remainder of our awards. Here they come. Good job. Our Outstanding Founder Award is perfectly timed in this show. It recognizes an individual whose vision and leadership has been the catalyst for establishing a nonprofit organization that improves the quality of life in Orange County. Please join me in watching his video.
I've had a wonderful opportunity to work with Ralph for almost 24 years. 6 years, we were both teachers back in Los Alamitos. Was able to actually experience the beginning of OSHA with about 130 students on that campus. Over the past 10 years, I've watched Ralph grow that program from its beginnings in Los Alamitos to over 1,500 students here on the Santa Ana campus, where we provide, I think, one of the best academic and arts conservatory programs anywhere in the nation.
Well, I first got involved with the High School of the Arts about 4 or 5 years ago, and I was on the Orange County Performing Arts Center board, and one of the board members there suggested that I go out to take a look at the Orange County High School of the Arts because there was so much potential synergy between the Performing Arts Center and the High School of the Arts. That day I met Ralph for the very first time, and he was very actively involved in showing off the facility, and you could tell, like most founders, very, very proud of what he had accomplished so far, but at the same time, Ralph had a vision for the future.
Working side by side with Ralph over these last 10 years, I'm constantly amazed at his commitment and his enthusiasm for providing a top quality academic and arts program for our students.
Ralph has really taken it to a whole new level, and I think he has a vision for the future that takes it once again in a direction to becoming the best venue of this type on the planet.
This place wouldn't be what it is without his vision, without his passion, and without his enthusiasm. I'm truly, in my 24 years in education, I've never worked with anybody like him.
Well, I think Ralph is very much recognized throughout the community, but this is special recognition when you're recognized by your peer group in the community for as the founder of the year in philanthropy. And my experience has been with Ralph is that this venue has come so far over the years, and it takes somebody with an incredible not only vision, but an incredible energy level and an incredible skill at organizing resources around you to execute on a vision like he's had for the Orange County High School of the Arts.
You know, I think if anybody deserves a Founders Award, I mean, it would be Ralph. I mean, to take a small grant to do a kind of an after-school arts program and build it into what we have today. 22 years later, 1,500 students, 11 conservatories, top flight academic program, alumni that have been successful in all the different arts areas we offer. I mean, I think it's blossomed into something that I'm not sure any of us could have imagined, 22 years ago as teachers at Los Alamitos High School with this first batch of 120 kids.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our outstanding founder, Dr. Ralph S. Opasek. Your kids dance beautifully, Ralph.
First, join me in thanking these beautiful, marvelously talented students for doing this wonderful dance on a postage stamp here. Thank students for the cheers in the back. I appreciate it. Take the rest of the day off from school. Just kidding. For those of you that have heard me spoke before, I have two favorite quotes that I use a lot. The first Unfortunately, I don't know the source. If any of you know the source, I'd love to know who it is. The quote is, "Talent is hitting a target no one else can hit. Vision is hitting a target that no one else can see." And I am privileged to work with an amazing, talented staff that took an idea, artists, teachers, academic teachers, administrative staff, development staff, and have turned it into something spectacular. And I'd like to have you join me in recognizing them, my key leadership staff, Steve Wagner, Cambria Morgan, Kathy Michaels, and Pat McMaster. Would you stand that we could thank you for your leadership? And I've had the privilege to work with a visionary board of trustees, board of directors that, again, have invested so much. It's their leadership, it's their investment of time and resources that's allowed the Orange County High School of the Arts to grow into what it is today. Please join me in recognizing, representing our board of trustees and our foundation board, Mike Mection, Bruce Chapman, John Gates, Kevin Tiber, Scott Woolsey. Would you please stand that we might thank you? And then my partner in this for all of these years has always been there quietly behind the scenes, supporting me, cheering me on, giving me great ideas, and giving me encouragement as we've gone through this journey, my beautiful wife, Dr. Sherry Opasik. And in closing, my final favorite quote, we're right next door to the happiest place on earth. This is a Walt Disney quote. Walt Disney was quoted as saying one time, "I could never convince the financiers to invest in Disney because dreams offer so little collateral." Well, I am thrilled that we are here celebrating all of you today. You have invested in the dreams of so many art nonprofit organizations. You are the dream makers. Thank you for all you do for Orange County. God bless you.
Thank you, Ralph. Well, you ready, Alan? Okay. Alan Greeley will introduce this year's Outstanding Small Business. As last year's recipient, he knows intimately what this award means.
Thanks, Maria. The Outstanding Small Business or Corporation Award recognizes a business with fewer than 30 employees that has demonstrated a consistent commitment to philanthropy through its involvement in one or more nonprofit organizations in Orange County. Outstanding businesses make a difference, not only by providing financial support, but also by being leaders in the community and by driving innovation that improves the quality of life for everyone living in Orange County. Please join me in watching this video.
Los Altos Trophy. It's really the epitome of a generous small company. With 30 or less employees, they have given tremendously to Goodwill.
Really, when I think of Los Altos Trophy, my closest connection to them is through Cindy Gittleman, and I've had the pleasure now of working with her for about 5 years. And she's just the most amazing, remarkable person, very passionate about our mission.
Cindy came through on a tour several years ago and saw what we did here in helping people with disabilities and other barriers. And she was just captivated by the mission that we had.
Before she walked out of the building, she looked at us and said, "I want to help. What can I do to help?" And from that moment on, she has been involved and active, and she's really made our mission here at Goodwill her mission.
They're supplying trophies and things for all the events that we do and the various activities that we have, where we really try to honor people who help people with disabilities.
It's really the people behind Los Altos Trophy that make that company so special, and Cindy and Lee Gittleman have just been amazing to Goodwill ambassadors. I think when I think of Cindy, I think of really the greatest volunteer we could have. And when I look at other people and getting them involved in Goodwill, I always compare them and say, but can they be like Cindy Gittleman? And she's really set the bar high, and I hope that other people will learn from her example.
I think Cindy and Lee have given so much to the organization over the years. It was really time for us to recognize them for what they've been doing for us. They're behind the scenes kind of people. They don't want to be out in front getting recognition, and I think this is our chance to just say thank you so much for what you've done for Goodwill.
they're just terrific people, and who really love what we're doing. They love the people that we serve, and they're just a great support for everything we're trying to do here.
Well, we're really pleased and honored to recognize Los Altos Trophy. I think they are such an example of how small business can impact a nonprofit organization and to support our mission. Small companies, can have the same kind of impact that a large company has, and sometimes even more, because their people get involved and they roll up their sleeves and they want to help you. And so it's exciting to be able to honor Los Altos Trophy.
As recipient of this award last year, they've asked me to say a couple of words, and I think John, my co-chair, earlier said it pretty well. We were taking some pictures, and he said, with all these lights and pictures, he says, this guy's a guy to go blind. And I said, well, that's not what they told us as kids, John, but I guess we're both lucky enough to have gone blind a few times with no ill effects. So with that having said, I'd like to welcome Cindy and Lee Gettleman, owners of the Los Altos Trophy.
It's kind of cool. A trophy company got a trophy. Sorry, didn't mean to steal it.
That's bright. That's bright. Hello. My husband Lee, my nephew Mark Norton, and I would like to thank Doug Freeman, the Association of Fundraising Professionals, and the panel of judges. We'd also like to thank Goodwill Industries of Orange County for believing that our company was worthy of taking this stage. And Goodwill Industries knows how we feel about them, but I'm going to say it anyway. What they do for people with disabilities and other barriers in Orange County is spectacular, and that's why we do what we do for them. We believe in their mission, and when you believe in somebody's mission, it makes it pretty darn easy to help them. So now to be on this stage in the presence of so many incredible individuals is both humbling and incredibly overwhelming. We are a third-generation, family-owned and operated company. Our nephew's on the stage with us today because he is the third generation of our company. And he's been running this operation now for close to 10 years for us. Los Altos has spent almost, well, close to half a century, am I right? Close to half a century in the business of helping others recognize people that they thought were very important in their lives, whether it was a corporation, a nonprofit, or a young person that won something for all the work they put into sports. That's what we're so used to doing. So to be recognized at this caliber is an incredible honor for us. We hope that when people do hear the name Los Altos Trophy or see something with our name on it, that what they really believe is, well, it's a company that truly does care about the lives of others and somebody who's trying to make a difference. So thank you, everyone.
Congratulations. Well, now John Evans will introduce this year's Outstanding Large Business. As last year's recipient, he also knows what this award means. John?
The Outstanding Large Business or Corporation Award recognizes a business with more than 30 employees that demonstrates an outstanding commitment to philanthropy through its financial support of one or more nonprofit organizations, its leadership involvement, and the volunteer participation of its workforce, thus establishing a role model for other businesses in our community. Please join me in watching the following video.
The Anaheim Ducks and the Honda Center actually both together have won the award. Just truly embody the spirit of philanthropy, I think, in Orange County, going above and beyond what you might expect of a sports team. From every level, the owners, Henry and Susan Samueli, to the players and the coaches, get involved in philanthropy at Share Ourselves, at Children's Hospital, at the Discovery Science Center, and it's on all levels. It is financial support through grants and sponsorships, but it's also visiting the sick kids. It's setting up an interactive display at the Science Center where kids can come in and really do some hands-on, exciting work. It's adopting families at the SOS Adopt a Family program. They adopted last year 36 families, and that's a consistent way that they support SOS. That means 36 families received Christmas gifts and food from the Anaheim Ducks, and it's their wives and their players going out and shopping for these families. So it's truly hands-on and making a significant impact on our community and on those families.
One of the things that really stands out to me in 2007 when they won the Stanley Cup, you know, you could be just at the Honda Center and you could isolate yourself and be to those who have your boxes all over your arena, but they chose to come out to the community. They brought the Stanley Cup to the reception area of SOS. The reception area of SOS is open to the community. So in walks moms with children and maybe a street person or two and others, and in the lobby was the Stanley Cup.
We have one of their executives, Doug Heller, who is on our board, and he's one of those board members that gets very involved.
I've heard the Ducks players talk about their humble beginnings, many of them, you know, that they're just the grassroots hockey player, you know, and I think that that engagement between us is such a wonderful example of the kind of supporters we have, the kind of people who believe in what SOS's mission is.
They are the inaugural sponsors of our Festival of Trees event. You know, to be an inaugural sponsor is kind of a leap of faith and going out on a ledge for a nonprofit, and they have been there from the beginning for us.
At Thanksgiving, they do meals, and they participate with La Casa Garcia, which does about over 16,000 meals for people during the holiday season. I'm really excited to be able to honor the Ducks today because I don't think we do enough about giving visibility to those organizations and those groups that have incredible excellence in the community.
There's just hundreds of charities that receive their support in so many different ways. It's agency-wide, it's community-wide, and it's organization-wide, and truly making a difference. We are so pleased that they're receiving this honor today.
I was asked to make a couple of comments about my feelings on this award as I received it last year for my company, Wells Fargo. And at that time, I had just come back from Nepal and the Himalayas and Kathmandu, a very poor area. And you may recall that I mentioned the hopelessness of the poor people and those who are disadvantaged there. And the people here who need our help have a much greater sense of hope because of us. And it made me reflect also about my team members who increased their own personal giving by 21% in this difficult economic period because they too, as we all do here, empathize with those who are less fortunate. So with that, this award means a great deal to us, but that is not our motivation for doing good. Our motivation is because we grow outside ourselves, and it's the only way to personal happiness and to self-fulfillment. Thank you very much. Now we will welcome to the stage Henry and Susan Samueli, owners of the Anaheim Ducks and the Honda Civic Organizations.
We really appreciate this award and recognize the fact that in any recognition like this, it's all about the team that makes it happen. Tim Ryan gave me an interesting statistic at the table earlier that since we bought the Ducks in the Honda Center approximately about 4 years ago, we've done over 200 community events, which averages out to about one a week, which to me is an amazing statistic, and it just demonstrates how pervasive this is in the organization. It really takes from the top down a team effort to be able to accomplish the wonderful things the organization has done. And we have a bunch of the top level people here. We have Mike Schulman and Tim Ryan. We have Wendy Amagishi, who heads the Community Relations Department at the Ducks, and Gerald Solomon, who heads Samueli Foundation. And they've worked with everybody in their organizations to go out into the community to do such wonderful things. And then you have to couple that in with the players, and of course, success on the ice requires an enormous team effort, which we haven't yet seen this year, but we're hoping. So you take the team on the ice, the team off the ice. The players are just so wonderful in how they contribute their time, and they love to do that. I mean, you look at it on the ice, our meanest, toughest player, George Peros, gets in a fight every game. Off the ice, he's got to be the most philanthropic, kind-hearted person in the entire organization. He's at every single one of these charity events. He does his annual Locks of Love, where he grows his hair all season long, and at the end of the season, he cuts off his hair and donates it to cancer victims who've lost their hair through chemotherapy. And across the board, every player on the team, they're the nicest guys off the ice. It's amazing how nice these hockey players are. So you combine that with the great organization we have, and that's why we're out there every week doing something else in the community, and we are just so happy, Susan and I, that we're able to do that and to make that contribution. So thank you very much.
And Henry, I'm just going to say that I am truly grateful that our photographer at KOCE, Keith Spitzer, is a huge hockey fan, because when I run into your spectacular players at a philanthropic event for a story, it really helps when he whispers in my ear some good things about these guys so that I don't sound like a complete fool in front of them. So congratulations. Well, now is a really special time in the afternoon. The Outstanding Philanthropist Award recognizes those with a proven record of exceptional financial generosity to one or more organizations, and who has demonstrated significant civic and charitable responsibility, whose generosity inspires others to philanthropic achievement. Just ask the 8,000 nonprofits in Orange County what propels their success, and they will all tell you it's philanthropy, giving to help others. Dr. Gwen Perry will be introducing our outstanding philanthropist. Dr. Perry is the Director of Community Medicine at Hoag Memorial Presbyterian. Many of us know Dr. Perry as a valued board member and is instrumental in funding many of your organizations here in this room. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Gwen Perry.
Well, are we all having a great time? Excellent food. We're going to talk to you a little bit about diabetes and philanthropy and passion for the mission. I just ate my dessert, so I've had my sugar high. I want to speak to you for a few minutes about two individuals, Mary and Dick Allen, their passion for a mission, their philanthropy, and we're going to talk about honeyed urine. Yes, honeyed urine. That's the literal English translation of the Greek and Latin diabetes mellitus, which is their great passion. While I speak, I'd like you to turn to the program on the third page. Those of you who can text while driving can read that dedication to Mary and Dick. At the same time, the disease of diabetes was first identified by the ancient Egyptians and Greeks and recognized for its disastrous consequences. It but it wasn't until the discovery of insulin in 1921 that effective treatment became possible. Fast forward to today. We're now able to manage the disease with remarkable progress made possible by individuals whose philanthropy and passion for the mission are carrying the banner for prevention and eradication of this disease. We're going to have the honor of meeting two of those extraordinarily passionate philanthropists today, Mary and Dick Allen. I've had the honor of knowing them for some years and can bear witness to their remarkable commitment of giving back to society in many ways as they serve others. I've known Dick Allen as chairman of the board of directors of Hoag Memorial Hospital Presbyterian. It was in that role that he first initiated a major diabetes management program for the communities. At the same time, Mary Allen served as chair of the board of directors of the Adult Day Services of Orange County, now the Alzheimer's Family Services Center. Because of personal experience, their passion has come to bear on that disease we know as diabetes mellitus. And it's through their drive, commitment, and philanthropy that the Mary and Dick Allen Diabetes Center at Hoag Hospital has become a reality, joined in partnership by Children's Hospital of Orange County and the Pediatric and Adolescent Research and Education Foundation. I can promise you all that this health resource for our communities will be nationally recognized in the next decade. And while there are many involved, it is the philanthropy and the passion for the mission of Mary and Dick Allen that's made it a reality. Please watch the video.
I just think the most amazing thing about Dick and Mary Allen is the fact that they bring so much intelligence and passion and commitment to everything they do.
When you think about outstanding philanthropy in Orange County, there are no people who stand out higher or taller than Dick and Mary Allen.
I met Mary for the first time when I was at the Alzheimer's Association, and Mary was single-handedly mining the help desk of the Alzheimer's Association. She brought that same passion and that same dedication to the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation.
Dick and Mary's grandchild, Hannah, became a diabetic at a tender age of 2. That spurred both of them to think in terms of serving diabetic population through various philanthropic activities.
You know, they roll up their sleeves and they want to know everything that they can find out about what's going on and how they can make a difference. And they have really done that in transformational ways for the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation.
Besides being incredibly generous and humble, Dick and Mary are very smart and savvy about how they go about everything in their lives, and their philanthropy is no different. They had attended an event at Stanford University about strategic philanthropy and got their introduction to community foundations, and they saw a partner that could help them accomplish what they wanted to in their philanthropy. And we saw incredibly smart, savvy, and generous philanthropists that we would be delighted to work with.
Mary and Dick Allen have been involved in the welfare of the community for many years. Even though Diabetes Center is an important event in their lives, they have helped the community by participating in helping the aged, in being part of dementia center, involved with UCI, and involved with other activities of Hoag Hospital.
They understand not only what's important to them, but the importance for having a strong foundation for giving in a local community. And that's one of the reasons they chose to work with us, is because they saw not only a way to help make their own giving more effective, but to help strengthen a platform that would sort of raise the bar for philanthropy for donors around the county and for causes of all types, even beyond those of their own interest. I heard someone ask Dick once, you know, what motivated him to give, and he said, you know, I give to things that make me cry. And not only have I seen Dick not afraid to be moved, but to make a difference. And I think that that truly sets him apart.
While Hoag Hospital, Hoag Foundation, and many others in the community helped us, philanthropy is the basis on which the center is founded. And without Mary and Dick Allen leading all of us towards that goal, it will not have been possible.
We're so thrilled, along with nominations from a number of other organizations in the community, all coming together to recognize the incredible impact that Dick and Mary have had on philanthropy in Orange County.
They are two of a kind.
Please join me in welcoming Dick and Mary Allen.
Whoa. Thank you, Dr. Perry. And thank you also to the Orange County chapter of the AFP and to the organizations that nominated us for this wonderful award. We are touched by it, and we're humbled by the knowledge that there are many others right here in this room who are at least as deserving. As all of you know, philanthropy is a journey. For Dick and I, our journey started at home. Both of us were born and raised in Sioux City, Iowa, and you all know where that is. And we were fortunate to have loving and caring parents. They didn't have much in the way of financial resources, so they weren't in a position to offer much financial support to charities. But what we saw firsthand, though, was that they volunteered often, they devoted their time generously, and most importantly, they made it clear that when someone needed help, you would be there to help them. Helping others became the right thing to do. It was a guiding principle. We've tried to live by that principle, and we are happy that our children are appearing to live by it also. Dick and I have been very fortunate, and that has given us the opportunity to offer others less fortunate, not just our time, but financial gifts as well. In the early days of our philanthropic journey, we did it without much focus. But then, as part of what you heard earlier today here, about 9 years ago, on New Year's Day 2001 to be exact, it got much more focused. Well, you'd think after 9 years I'd be used to this. We received one of those phone calls that you hope you never get. It was from our daughter, calling us from their local emergency room, telling us the news that Hannah, then 2.5, had just been diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. From that moment on, we had our focus. We had our passion. We committed to two things. Number one was to do everything we could to help find a cure for those with that insidious disease. This led us to the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, a wonderful family of people with the single purpose of raising money to find research. And number two was to learn how to care for Hannah so that we could give our daughter and our son-in-law an occasional break from the 24/7 full-time responsibility. We learned just how complex diabetes is and how exacting and expensive it can be. It demands your full, undivided attention, day in and day out, for counting carbs, assuring proper nutrition, doing numerous finger pricks, and giving multiple shots for the rest of her life.
Do you want to do the rest of this?
No.
Well, what really struck Mary and me as we learned more and more about the difficulties of managing diabetes, and we began to understand the constant demand it places on you, was how people with limited access to information and resources are able to do it. How do they cope with all of this? How do they manage their child's diabetes? Hannah was fortunate because she had all the essential support structures around to help her. but not every child with diabetes does. In fact, you don't have to look very far afield to find lots of kids who don't. They're right here in our backyards. And they aren't as lucky as Hannah because they don't have access to the critical resources they need. There may not be a nurse at their school. They may not have been taught how to count the carbohydrates they're about to eat. They may have a single parent whose job prevents them from being in close telephone contact during the day. And they may come home to an empty house after school where they have to fend for themselves or wait until mom comes home to test their blood sugar and give them an overdue insulin shot. This is a scenario, ladies and gentlemen, that plays out all too often. Mary and I realized this, and we knew then that we needed to do something about it. This is the reason for Mary's and my commitment to the new diabetes center at Hoag Hospital, the one they've named in our honor. And as we learned more about the horrific consequences of not properly managing this disease, we knew it was a resource that our community had to offer. The center's goal is simple. It's to offer a full complement of services that will make life better for anyone and everyone who needs help in managing their disease. These services, unfortunately, are not adequately reimbursed, and as a consequence, they are often in short supply. Most communities simply can't afford to step up to them. But I'm proud to say that's not the case here. Because of the financial support of Hoag Hospital and the generosity of many, many caring people in this community, we will have in our midst a fully integrated, patient-focused diabetes center that will make a difference in the lives of loved ones in our community who are fighting daily battles with diabetes. And Mary and I can't thank them enough. We want to leave you with one final thought. It too is a poem. I was dreading the thought that maybe the earlier poems would be the same as mine, but they're not. And we think this particular poem epitomizes philanthropy. It's actually an anonymous quote that one of my high school teachers kept in his office on the wall behind him. And some of you may have heard it before, and it goes like this. I expect to pass through this world but once. Any good, therefore, that I can do, or any kindness that I can show to my fellow human being, let me do it now. Let me not defer nor neglect it, for I shall not pass this way again. Mary and I thank you again for this very nice honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we got that.
It's a very well-read group, isn't it? Of course, one of my favorite things. Thank you very much, Dick and Mary, for all you do. Well, now we are going to get to the coup de grace. Our honorary co-chairs, Alan Greeley and John Evans, will introduce two of the most charming people you will ever hope to meet, and I'm sure everyone in this room knows them and loves them dearly. Our Lifetime Achievement honorees. That's you guys.
So here's what gets to happen. I get to read something, and then I get to say something for 60 seconds, and then Alan gets to say something for 60 seconds, and we get to try to embarrass our good friends here. Not intentionally, it's just what it is. The Lifetime Achievement Award is not routinely presented each year. This award is presented at the discretion of the panel of judges. The award for Lifetime Achievement recognizes the cumulative philanthropic efforts of an individual, family, or family foundation over a period of 10 years or more. Recipients of the award must have demonstrated a long-term commitment of philanthropy and the spirit of giving back to the community. Please join me in watching this video.
From the earliest age, Girl Scouts learn that they have a responsibility to use their gifts and talents to make the world a better place. We cannot think of a better example of this or role models than Elizabeth and John Starr. We were so proud to nominate them for this award because of the incredible difference they have made in so many lives here in Orange County.
In a sense, this really represents an amazing journey for the Stars as leaders of the symphony, as philanthropists, and as great volunteers.
In reading the requirements for the Lifetime Achievement Award, recognizing that it's not given every year, as I was thinking about it, they're the first people that came to mind.
You know, it's interesting. This is the Lifetime Achievement Award, but as I've known both John and Elizabeth intimately through the last 20 years of my work with the Pacific Symphony, I've never seen them as someone trying to achieve something. They're always contributing, they're always giving back, they're always making positive things happen.
They epitomize philanthropy, and I say that on a lot of levels. They're exceptionally committed. They're goal-oriented. Their generosity really has known no bounds with the orchestra. They give of their time, their treasure, and most importantly, their intellectual richness.
You know, they've been very active participants and family in Orange County for the last 40 years, and over that time they've worked with 30 organizations or more than 30 organizations, and I think in fact they're working with almost 30 today. They have gotten engaged and stayed engaged.
I became aware of just the scale of their efforts around Orange County when I learned of the Newport Beach Library Project.
Their work with the Mind Institute, South Coast Repertory, UCI, they've been engaged there. I mean, it's extraordinary what they've accomplished over the years.
They bring humor and joy to raising money and volunteerism, and I think that's a wonderful part of their style.
John has a way of being in the right place at the right time with the right amount of energy, the right amount of goodwill, and the right amount of intelligence and strength and work ethic to get things solved. Elizabeth is just one of those dynamos who has such strength and courage and willpower that it's impossible to say no to Elizabeth when she asks for anything or when she wants anyone to help her in one of her many endeavors. And this is, I'm sure, not just within the realm of the Pacific Symphony, but in all walks of life.
When I first met John, he told me that Elizabeth was the hardest worker I would ever meet. And I've had the absolute joy, we've had the absolute joy and pleasure of working with her for 3.5 years, most recently, but she's been engaged in Girl Scouts since she was a girl herself.
In the U.S., where we depend so strongly on philanthropy, on volunteerism, they're models, in my view, for what great volunteers can do for an organization.
They are two of the most engaged and involved philanthropists I've ever met in my lifetime.
And the last thing we'd like to say is,
thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Starr.
We'll go ahead and pose for the picture while you're all standing there, and then we'll make them stand there again while we sing their praises oh so loudly. Okay, John and Elizabeth, sadly, I'm going to ask you to remain while John and Alan come and speak from the heart about you.
You know, John and Elizabeth, I wish I would have known you all my life. Alas, it has only been 16 years. But in that 16 years, I've come to know you well. I've been with you in many circumstances and varied events. From the time we sat together and mourned and empathized at the passing of a dear friend's child. I've been with you at arts and culture and learning experiences, and I've seen your excitement there. These things have lifted us all. I've seen your generosity firsthand. I first met you together when we were at the Pacific Symphony. And then it bridged into many other areas. I will recall when we and the Freemans and you were in Europe for the inaugural tour of the Pacific Symphony in Europe. And we were in Austria, the home of classical music. And one of the critics there was astounded with the symphony and asked this question: where shall the praise begin? If I can borrow that aphorism and apply it to you, John and Elizabeth, where shall the praise begin? I'm proud to be your friend.
Good job, guys. Good job. I've known the Stars for a little over 20 years, and we've had a lot of good meals together. We've had a lot of good conversations in that 20 years, but most of our time together has been spent at events not unlike this one today. Two more deserving, kinder, loving, unselfish people you couldn't find. I've only really wished that I spent even more time with him, because usually he's talking or I'm talking or I'm cooking and he's eating or something like that. And I was so happy to hear that you both won this award. I'm just tickled pink. What a great honor. Please welcome me in presenting the Lifetime Achievement Award to Elizabeth and John Starr.
These people are taller. I didn't bring my horse with me today. First of all, let me thank you. This is an enormous honor for both of us today, but there are many other people that should be here in our place. When a general is a general, he has to have an army behind him, or he's not a general. And I can assure you that when I took 125 Girl Scouts out camping, I had other people who said yes and came along to help me. Or when I taught 275 Asian women English out in Irvine, I had other people who said yes, who came to help. Or when John and I raised the money to build the Newport Beach Public Library, we definitely had people who said yes and came out to help us do that. Yes, a leader has to organize and carry through with things, but it never happens unless there's an army of people who say yes. I went to Girl Scout camp when I was 7 years old. I never changed my clothes all week long. But I did learn the promise that says, on my honor, I will try to serve God, my country, and mankind. And one of the laws says to help where I am needed, and another one says to protect and improve the world around me. And I think that that's been what I have done ever since I've been 7. I have learned how to change my clothes. Once John and I were in Spain, and they took us to a bullfight. And this bullfight was a benefit. And in the ring, fighting the bulls, were the dentists and the doctors of the town. And it was pretty grim, because the bulls were a whole lot better than the doctors and the dentists. And one of the people in the group that we were traveling with sat there and said, "Don't they know about bake sales and car washes?" And Americans do know about bake sales and car washes. It's a whole lot easier than being in the bull ring. Philanthropy is called time, talent, and treasure. And I like it said better when you say wealth, wisdom, and work. And it's mainly been through work that John and I have done our philanthropy. It's been phone calls and meetings and agendas and following through to see that whatever project we were in actually happens. Americans are amazing at philanthropy. I often think so hard about what happened when the disaster hit America and what people did when Katrina hit our country. There's no other country in the world that ever does anything like what Americans do for philanthropy. And I'll have to say, I think Orange County really leads the way in what we do here. I mean, look at the number of people in this room, all of you doing something worthwhile to help mankind and help other people. Our areas of philanthropy have mainly been education and libraries, which go together, and the arts and children. And that's where we've put our efforts for the 37 years we have now lived here in Orange County. I recently read a quote from somebody from Silicon Valley who gave a lot of money for a new building at Stanford. And I liked what he said. He said, if you believe in something, you put your money into the soil for next year's crop. And that's indeed what John and I have tried to do. Thank you very much.
I always wonder at this time whether I should do as my good friend Tom Tierney once advised me when he was in a similar situation with his beautiful Elizabeth, to say ditto, thank you, and sit down. But I can't, I'm not going to do that, Elizabeth. I get a lot of prompting and a lot of help in my daily living, as you can tell. It's a real pleasure to be here with all you friends today. I always find many people that we've known for years and years and years at this event. I want to acknowledge one particular lady today, Peggy Sprague, who received this award with her husband, Bob, who's no longer with us, last year. We had Peggy and Bob with us on a selection panel for last year's event, trying to pick out the outstanding philanthropist for that last year's award, at the same time that another panel was selecting them for the lifetime gift, and we were able to keep it a secret from them for a substantial period of time. Peggy, it's wonderful to see you. Doug Freeman, you started a wonderful thing. You got the official recognition for this, and you've been the spark plug of our community for so long with this group and with many others. We can't thank you enough. Dick and Mary, fellow Iowans that we've known for over 30 years, congratulations, and congratulations to all of the other honorees today and in the past. We appreciate it very much. We are not nearly deserving of all the kind things that you've had to say about us, but we're deeply touched, and we thank you.
I'd like to ask the honorary co-chairs to stay. Oh, there! Look how I see. I'm so wrapped up in John and Elizabeth that I didn't even see the magic that got on stage. Well, that concludes this year's National Philanthropy Day celebration. I want to thank the extraordinary honorary co-chairs that did such a beautiful job, John Evans and Alan Greeley. Thank you, of course, to Linda and Kathy and, of course, Sally for all of their wonderful leadership. It's impossible to think what would not be without the generosity of everyone in this room. You think about the hospitals, the arts organizations, the education, the great starts and the second chances. Thank you all for your incredible gift to our community, and I am sure that it will continue. And thank you for allowing me to be a part of such a magical day. And with that, allow me to give a little bit to someone at the table. If you are the lucky person if you flip your program over, if your word commitment is highlighted in that beautiful color of pink, that means you get the exquisite centerpiece in the center of your table. So make sure that you take that, and make sure that you pick up a copy of the Gift of Giving section in the Orange County Register. Tomorrow there'll be a full-page ad in the Orange County Register. Thank you all so much for being here, and please let's give a final round of congratulations to our honorees and our wonderful co-chairs.
Thank you for joining us. I hope you take a smile and an inspiration with you, and that you come back next year.
Thank you, everybody. Come back next year. And all the honorees, we have boxes for your awards up on stage. So if you'd like to, the very nice box that comes with your award, please come and retrieve it. Thank you very much.